how long? Almost 5 days, 4 days. Listen, we're going to make an old-fashioned, something you may have never heard of or seen, but we are going to make an old-fashioned sweet potato cobbler. And it's going to be made with real dumplings and a real top, real butter and real sugar, and it's going to be delicious. And so the first thing you do is you wash your sweet potatoes, because I'll show you why we're going to do that. I'm going to put them right over here. And listen, the reason I hadn't been on Facebook lately is the other day when I was doing that party for the girls, the college girls, a little pecan party when we were making pecan pies. Well, anyway, I had been cutting some flowers for the party, and I had the flowers up on top of my counter. I mean, the clippers, the flower clippers on top of my counter. And I pulled a dish rag off, and those clippers came off that counter. They were open, and they went straight down and went straight into the top of my foot and put a huge, well, deep, and not huge wide, but deep puncture wound in there. Well, I hadn't had a tetanus shot probably in 50 years, so I had to go and get a tetanus shot and all that good happy stuff. So that's the reason I've been hobbling around this week. But I am back, and they gave me some antibiotics, and I'm good. And so I didn't have to have stitches. So I'm proud of that. But y'all come right over here to this chopping block, and I'm going to show you the easy way to peel sweet potatoes. You know, they're hard to peel. Well, I'm going to show you an easy way. Okay, here's how I do peeling the sweet potatoes, and it is easy. You go just like this, and you're going to do circles. Just circles. With the peeling on there. Like this. Let me do some of them so you'll see. There's a bad part on that one. Move that out of the way. Anyway, my grandmother, I called her Granny. She used to make sweet potato cobbler. And I think back in the olden days, you know, you couldn't, in certain parts of the country, you might not have different kinds of fruits. So women back then, hey, they made with whatever they had. And they had sweet potatoes. And you know, these sweet potatoes are actually really super good for you. Super, super good. I think 3 potatoes will be plenty for your family and mine. Now, today is Sunday, y'all. I'm going to read a scripture to you just in a minute in Isaiah that I told you I've been reading in Isaiah. Well, I'm not anywhere near through it yet. To me, that's a hard book. But anyway, all right, so here's what you do. I did that with a thicker knife, but now I'm going to use my little old faithful thin knife. And all you do to peel them is you just go around in a circle. It is so easy. It is so easy. I want you to look at that. Just nothing to it, I'm telling you. Anyway, let me get my Bible over here, and I'm going to read you this little part. Wait a second. Let me do this. I don't want to get flour on my Bible. Wait a minute. Here's something. I was reading last night in Isaiah, and in chapter 12 in Isaiah, I think it's the 2nd and the 3rd and 4th verse. This is what I read, and it just meant a lot to me, especially today, this morning, Sunday. And it says, "Behold, God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid, for the Lord Jehovah is my strength and my song, and he also is my salvation. Therefore," now this tells you what to do if that is therefore. It is there for a reason, is what my preacher always says. It's there for a reason. Therefore, listen what we're supposed to do. "Therefore, with joy let me find where I am, shall ye trust and draw water out of the well of salvation," meaning that we need to trust, and draw water means draw our strength and everything out of where? Out of our salvation, with the Lord. And we are to praise the Lord. We're to call on his name and declare his doings among the people. And sing unto the Lord, for he has... Sorry, y'all, that was Hannah calling me on the phone this Sunday morning. But anyway, what I was saying, let me finish this so I can get with my work. Anyway, it says, cry out and shout, thou inhabitants of Zion, for great is the Holy One of Israel in the midst of thee. So what I got from these verses were this. I am to trust. I am to not be afraid. I'm to rejoice in the strength. And my song, I should sing into that because of salvation. I need to draw water out of the well, draw water and strength from Jesus. That's what it's saying. And I am to declare, I'm to meditate, I'm to mention, I'm to sing, and I'm to cry out. So I just think those were just really good thoughts there. And so that's what we want to do. But anyway, look how easy this is, y'all. You just can't get any easier than cutting them in circles. Every time I get that real old big potato in my hand, it seems like the older I get, my hands just don't want to do. I know there's been men at the Cottle House that came to stay at our bed and breakfast, and sometimes in the morning I'd have to, when I was getting out all my stuff for them, I'd have to ask the men to help me open the jelly or the syrup or whatever. Because it's, I don't know, just something. I've got bottle openers and jar openers and all that kind of stuff. All right, so we've got these 3 things done. And what we are going to do is put some water over these sweet potatoes. And we are not going to put any sugar. We're not going to put any butter. We're not going to put anything right now. Just our sweet potatoes. And I did 3 of them. So I'm going to put some water over them. I'm going to boil them until they're fork tender. And then I'll show you what we're going to do next. All right, we're going to make our homemade dumplings really quickly. And y'all see that I've got a different bowl today. That's because this is my plain flour, my all-purpose flour. But I'm going to do it exactly like I do the biscuits, except I'm going to have all-purpose flour. And I'm going to add a little more flour because I don't want my dough soft. I want it kind of firm. I'm just going to put about an egg-size thing of grease in there. I'm going to shake my buttermilk up. Put a little in there, baby. Let's say 1.5 cups or whatever. Now, my recipe book that I did, I measured for y'all so that y'all could do it right. But since I'm just doing it at home, I'm so used to making it, I don't need a recipe book anymore. But I do when I'm doing for y'all. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm moving my hand down in this. I'm going to do like that where y'all can see better. And I never go down to the bottom of the bowl or the flour. In other words, see me pulling in just a little flour as we go, like this. And I'm not going down to the bottom, okay? Stir a while, pull up, do whatever. All right. Now I'm going to start adding a pretty good bit of flour because I've got it mixed so good, okay? Now, what you do with dumplings is you want to put more flour because if it was biscuits, I'd probably stop about right now. See the consistency? But with a dumpling, you have got to work it a little longer, y'all. Now, if you learn to make these dumplings, let me tell you something. You can make ham pot pie, chicken pot pie, any kind of fruit cobbler, any kind you want. You can also make fried dumplings. You can make hot pockets. You can make all kinds of things. So this is a skill that you really need. So you people that are making biscuits, I'm going to be looking for you to make some dumplings, okay? Chicken and dumplings, ham and dumplings, all kinds of cobblers. Not by just putting water together and some milk and pouring it on top of your peaches, but to actually make an old-timey peach cobbler. All right, clean your hands off. Like this. Now it's getting pretty stiff. I'm going to move this out of the way now. I'm going to flour my surface. and my hands, pick that dough up, and I'm gonna work it for a while, and I'm gonna put some more flour on it because you have got to have it stiff. And yes, my floor is gonna be a mess when I get through too. I really missed y'all. I really have missed you. I don't like not to be able to video, but you understand sometimes in life, we don't get to do all the things we want to do we? All right, y'all. See how stiff it's getting? And you'll know when it's good and stiff. You'll know that. This is a new apron I've got. It's so cute. It was given to me yesterday. I've gotten so many pretty ones. And oh, listen, the girls enjoyed so much getting to pick out one of my aprons to wear to make the pecan pies the other day. They were so excited. But anyway, this one crisscrosses in the back like this. I thought that was, and it's homemade. There's so many people out there with talents, I'm telling you, with wood. I've gotten some bee catcher things. I've gotten some beautiful wooden baskets that people have made with has chicken wire in it. It's really beautiful and all kinds of stuff. All right, here's how I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna leave this part out for the topping, okay? That right there. And this is gonna be for the dumplings, this other part. So here's how I'm gonna test it. You get your rolling pin and we're gonna roll it out really thin. If it sticks to this surface when I'm rolling this out, this is meaning that I don't have enough flour in it. You've got to do it like this. I'm gonna pick it up, just see if it's sticking yet. A little bit. Let's see, can y'all see this? Let me push you down a little. See how that's wanting to stick right there? Do you see that? You see that? What's that telling you? That's telling you, honey, put you a little more flour down there. Work it just a little teeny weeny bit longer. That's what it's telling you. See, you can judge. You can judge it. We want it stiff so it doesn't stick when we start cutting out our dumplings, because once that starts boiling over there, we don't want to have to come back and... All right, let's see how this does. Okay, let's try this one. Right. Had to move my stuff because I hadn't got room to roll this thing out. See, it makes a lot of dumplings, a big old thing of them. All right, let's pick it up and see what's happening. Nothing's happening. That's a good thing. All right, let me finish rolling it out and I'll be right back. Okay, y'all. I've got the dumpling dough is rolled out, and I rolled it out just as thin as I could. Now remember, use your all-purpose white lily flour, not your self-rising, because your dumplings will be so fat you won't even be able to eat them. So you want to use your all-purpose. All right, just throw you a thing of butter in your broth over here, and we're going to put in some sugar in a minute. And we're going to bring this to a boil, and we're going to cut up our dumplings. But anyway, you can see how thin. Let me cut one off so you can see it. See how thin I tried to roll them out? You don't want them thick. You want them real thin. And also, you want to do that on your pie crust. Okay? You pick up my spatula. Rinse it off. In the South, we have a thing called the 3-second rule. Meaning if you drop it and you pick it up within 3 seconds, you're all right. All right, so here's how I'm going to cut my dumplings. Let me show you something. All you're going to do is you're going to cut some strips like this. You don't have to put all these in your broth. You can always save some of your dough for later if you need to. And I'll see. I'm going to judge it as I drop them in. And then you cut them this way so they'll be kind of a little bit done off here. All right, there we go. And there's the dumpling. All right, so now we've got our butter in our broth. Let me put you over here. I have moved y'all all around this kitchen this morning, haven't I? We've been every which way. All right, so now we're gonna put some sugar in our broth. Now, the reason you don't put sugar in your broth before is because your broth will become syrupy because the sugar's cooked so long. So that's why I always wait to the end to put in my butter and my sugar, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I've got me a measuring cup right here, and I'm just gonna scoop down in there and get me some sugar. And then I'm gonna taste it in a little bit, and if I need more sugar, darling, I'm gonna put it, okay? So I'm just gonna get me some sugar and put in there with that good butter. I'm gonna start with a couple of these. And then we'll see later. I'm going to church this morning, so I've put my roast on 500 degrees. I'm going to leave it on 500 degrees for at least 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and then I'm going to turn my oven off, and I'm not going to open the door, and hopefully it'll be done when we get home from church. I don't like to leave my oven going when I'm at church, so I'm just not going to do that. All right, so I've got this in here, and I am going to let it just melt, and when it comes to a big boil, I'll turn you back on, and y'all can watch me drop these dumplings and these good sweet potatoes right here back in it, okay? Okay, y'all, you can see our sweet potatoes are at a rolling boil, or a sweet potato broth. So now I'm going to drop my dumplings in it. And this is why you can't have it sticking. Let me put some flour on my fingers. Because if they stick, then you can't drop them in while it's boiling. It's got to be in a rolling boil. I probably won't use all these because I like a lot of broth in mine. I don't want it so thick I can't even get any juice. See? You just drop them right in the center, one at a time. And then I do have some vanilla ice cream if we want to eat that on top of ours, but I don't think I want to. I'm just going to eat mine plain with just sweet potatoes and all that good stuff. I don't know if your grandmother had ever made these or not, but y'all, you're going to love them. I'd like to know. I'd like to know if you've ever made them before. Our Uncle Pickens, George's uncle, he taught us how to plant sweet potatoes when we first moved here, and so we did. And we bought the little sweet potato shoots, and we dropped them on the ground, and then he went and cut a stick that had a fork in it, and you just grab that sweet potato and push it down in that dirt, that shoot, with that fork thing. It's a homemade fork thing. And y'all, we had more sweet potatoes that year. I'm telling you, we had the sweet potatoes. All I want is just enough for everybody to have one serving. I don't want a bunch of leftovers here. All right, so we got it at a rolling boil, and it is boiling. And I'm gonna get this hair back out of my face. It's about to drive me nuts this morning. When I get through with this, where I can do something with it. All right, so here we go. I'm thinking kind of this is all I'm gonna put in there. I think that looks like a pretty good bit. I'll save the other for, well, I might put in a few more. Let me put in just a few more. And I'll show y'all what I got left on my tray. I used most of them. We'll put one more serving in there for somebody. There we go. Okay, here's what I've got left on my tray right here. So I hadn't got much left, just a few little things here and there. There's my dough for the top of it that I need to work up. Okay, I'm gonna let those get let these cook just a little bit and get tender. Maybe, 5 or 6 minutes, something like that, so they start getting tender. Then I'm going to pour these sweet potatoes back in there, and I'm going to taste it, and then I'm going to make the top to go on it and pop it in the oven, okay? And that's what a sweet potato cobbler is. All right, y'all, I'm fixing to put the sweet potatoes back in with the dumplings. Oh my gosh, this looks good. Ooh, what you say? What you say? I don't know if y'all can see this because of all the steam coming up, but I want to try to show you. Do you see that? Those sweet potatoes and the dumplings in there? Oh my goodness. Somebody told me one time, and I have never tried this, but they told me that they make butter bean dumplings. And I've never eaten a butter bean dumpling. I don't know how to do a butter bean dumpling, but I bet it's something like this, that you would make that dumpling, cook your butter beans, use that juice, and then drop your dumplings in it. But I don't know that. So if you know that, hey, how about letting me know? I could have made a blackberry cobbler. These were given to me and hand-picked out in the natural. No preservatives, no nothing. But I decided I wanted to eat mine with milk and sugar. If y'all have never done that, you just put your blackberries in your bowl, put you some sugar and good milk over it, or half and half, and put it back in the refrigerator to get cold, and you stir it occasionally, and your juice will be purple, and it'll be good. This is how my grandchildren like to eat it too. All right, y'all, our cobbler is tender. Everything's ready. So here's what you do now. You take this big old hot pot of broth and sweet potatoes and dumplings, and you gently pour it, if I can, into my casserole dish. Ooh, what you say, y'all? It's gonna be good. That's what we say. Look over here at this. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? Now, I'm going to try to put this top on it. Wish me luck. This is the same dough as we made our dumplings out of. And hopefully I can love on it enough that it'll get on there. There it is, right there. You lay it over the top of your pie. Try not to stretch it too much. Just let it lay gently on there. Like that. Let me put it over here where y'all can see, or get you over here where you can see. Let me see if I can get you right here. Let me shut my old cabinet. Y'all don't need to look at all this junk that's all in there. All right, so I've got it on here. Now I'm going to pick it up and let it kind of fall down in there before I cut it off, because you want it to touch you try not to have any holes in it. If you do, it'll be all right. It's just your broth may come over the edge of it. All right, let me get me out a knife. And you cut off. You don't want to cut it off too bad. You know, you want to cut it down low so it'll be right. You can save this dough too and make y'all a fried pie out of it. Honey, we're not going to waste anything. We are not going to waste anything. All right, let's see how that looks. That looks good. Come on, crump it up a little bit. Okay, now what I do is I just take my little fingers and I'm going to smear some soft butter on it. And you know I told you not to be putting your butter in the refrigerator. You don't want a bunch of hard butter. So, you just take your butter. Matter of fact, I probably need to replace mine. And take it a little bit on your finger like you were greasing your face. And just dabble a little here and there with your fingers on your pie. Hey, I may not even eat that roast for dinner. I may eat all pie. If y'all have not tried this, or if you've never heard of this, I want to see you making it. I want you to master dumplings. Now, y'all have mastered biscuits. I'm so proud of you. I look on Facebook and I see all of the beautiful biscuits you're making. I know that you've got happy husbands. Now I'm going to take a little sugar. Let me get me a container. And I'm going to sprinkle a little sugar on top. You don't want much, but you do want a little bit. Just sprinkle a little sugar. like that. And we're going to pop this in the oven on about 400. When this crust gets brown, take it out. It is ready, okay? That's all you do. It's going to be good. Now, I'll show it to you as soon as it gets ready, all right? Let me put it on. Let me turn y'all off first. See if I can find a clean finger to do it with. This one. Okay, this is the dough that I had left. I'm going to put it in this container, just a bowl. I'm going to put some kind of wrap over it, plastic wrap. And the reason I'm doing that is if you don't let any air get to yours, you want to kind of push this down tight like this. Around it, kind of push it down in there like this. Then we can make some fried pies out of that. Or more dumplings or whatever you want to do. Just don't throw it away. It's good stuff. Hey, guess what, y'all? Our sweet potato casserole, listen to me, our sweet potato cobbler is ready. I want you to see it. It is beautiful. I'm fixing to get it out. Let me put me something right there for it to sit on. I'm going to get it out. Just give me a minute. I don't want to drop it. For Lord's sake, I don't want to drop it. It's heavy. All right, here it is. Smoking hot. Nice crunchy little, but tender but crunchy crust. You got your sugar and butter on it. Now what I'm going to do is leave it just like this until we get ready to eat for Sunday lunch. I hope y'all will come and visit with us at Bethany, Andalusia today. If you can't get to us personally, physically, then come online and see us and worship with us this morning. We're going to have a good worship this morning. We're going to worship the Lord. So y'all tune in to